See me when you talk, I don't know what to say. I'm going.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Araceli, and today's video is going to be a little bit of a different video. It's going to be art supplies that I have purchased recently as a beginner, I would say, in art. And I normally create a lot of lifestyle content of my life living here in Silicon Valley with my boyfriend. We're both engineers and we have a rescue dog named Dublin. But I kind of want to start incorporating different areas of my life into my videos because I do want this to be a sort of digital journal that I can look back on. And this part of my life, living in quarantine and COVID and just this past year, has been a year of self-reflection, a year of growth for me, and a year to really find myself, especially being a new grad and figuring out life outside of college and school in general. And one of the things that I've picked up is creating art. And this is very personal for me. I don't really like to share my art with many people. In the past, I've done a lot of acrylic painting. I've done a lot of 3D art with sculptures and ceramics, but I am starting to dabble into different art forms and I'm really enjoying the process. I'm enjoying the process of making mistakes. That's one area of my life that I don't really get to explore being an engineer in tech. I don't think there's a whole ton of room for errors. So these are products that I've been using as a beginner and that aren't super expensive and high quality as well. So let's get into today's video. I am going to start with notebooks and pads that you can use for painting or really any media form. And I love the mixed media notebook. This is just such high quality. I think it's so good for anyone who's a beginner and doesn't know what kind of art form they like to create. This is really nice because it's applicable to so many art forms. And something that I've been picking up is calligraphy and watercoloring. And for calligraphy, I am totally as beginner as it gets. And I decided to get a calligraphy paper pad where I can just tear off the sheets as I go through them. And I love that it's high quality paper. It will allow me to use any brush pens, and I really like that they don't bleed through. One of my biggest pet peeves when writing with markers is that they're going to bleed through, and I have been trying to find high quality paper that isn't so expensive, and I went to a store called Mido in Santana Row, San Jose, California area, and I believe they have other locations, but I really liked that store because they had amazing high quality products that weren't too expensive, and this was one of the ones I picked up. And for watercolors, I love using this watercolor paper pad as well. It's nice because you can tear them out and it's just such nice quality paper, and I really like it for a beginner not knowing what kind of paper to get. And I've also been getting into junk journaling or kind of creating like a scrapbook in journal form of my life, and I'll write passages and I'll kind of tape in or glue certain things that kind of relate to what I was talking about, or just kind of create a nice visual aesthetic layout. And one notebook that I've been using is from Archer and Olive, and it is this beautiful emerald green journal, and it is so amazing. Like, the quality of this paper is so good, and I really wanted to find a journal that had flexible binding and that would have a little bit of a give, because when you do scrapbook journals or junk journaling, a lot of your pages really get covered in a lot of taped in or glued in pages or scraps and stuff like that, and it starts to expand over time, and I wanted to have one that didn't break on the binding because of the stress that I would put on it from all of the pages. So, and to practice my cursive a little bit better, I love writing in cursive, but it honestly is very sloppy and I write really fast in cursive, so it just does not look very good. And I've been trying to slow down and practice patience with it and realize that you don't have to write really fast in cursive to be good at it. And I've been using this notebook from Pentalic, and I got this at Craft Warehouse in Vancouver, Washington, because I was there a few months ago before I came back to San Jose, and I was starting my junk journaling process, and I was looking for journals, and I found this one because it's off-white pages and they're very thick, nice quality pages, and I got this for $5, and now it's become my notebook to practice a lot of my cursive endeavors. Diving into pens and markers that I love using. First off, if you knew me at all in real life, then you would know that I love G2 pens. I use these for everything, like when I was in school or when I was in my internship or now at work. I love using G2 pens, and I love the 0.38 and 0.5 millimeter size. I think those are the best when you're taking notes or journaling, because it lets you really control your lettering, whereas the like 0.7 I think is a little too thick for me. I don't really like those, but I love getting the ultra fine ink refills, because then I get to reuse the pen, the plastic pen, all the time without having to constantly buy the pens and then waste a lot of this plastic. Then I usually just do the ink refills. All right, I have a lot of pens and brush pens that I've been loving, and markers. I've just been exploring all of them because I didn't know anything about these before. And one of my favorites is my very, very cheap Manuscript Fountain Pen. Now, I think I got this for like $3 at that Craft Warehouse, and it was in my March favorites video. Even though it's so cheap, it's so nice to write with, and I think it's like the quality is so much better than pens that I see that are like $20. Like, this is really nice, and it goes to show that you don't have to splurge on art supplies all the time. Like, you can buy something really cheap that turns out to be really good. And then I recently picked up these two brush pens from Pigma. It's just so satisfying to play like a podcast or a Taylor Swift album and zone out and just kind of let your mind wander. I think it's so fun to do that. Now, these have been my absolute favorite pens. I have the flexible tip and the hard tip pens, and they're both in black, and they're just such nice quality pens. Like, I love practicing calligraphy with these two. I have used them for most of my calligraphy practice thus far, and they're so nice, and I love putting these into my journals as well and kind of doing like big quotes in there or something like that. So these are really nice, and they don't bleed through my journal. After discovering Archer and Olive for their journals, I discovered these amazing markers that are their acrylic pens. They're so nice to write with, and they have a really nice flow to them when you're writing with them, and the pigmentation is really good, and they just look really nice in my journal, and it's nice to kind of create little doodles with them and just add more color to my journal. Another thing that I've been obsessed with is writing with a dip pen. These are so nice, super nice quality, and I love writing with them. I think they just really add a whole new different element to my journals, and I love practicing my cursive with these. It just has that touch of, I don't know, I feel like I'm in a vintage cafe when I'm writing with my dip pens on my journal, listening to some music, and it just feels so nice to write with these, and I really like them. This one I got comes with a ton of different colors, and I got this off Amazon, and I think it was like $12 for this whole kit, and you can find really cheap ones out there, and I feel like they're all pretty similar in quality. Just, I don't know, you can compare like a $10 one with a $40 one, and I think they're going to be about the same. So if you're a beginner like me, or even like intermediate, then I would definitely suggest going with a lower cost one because the quality is just as nice. When I was also looking at Target for art supplies, I found two items that I found to really like. One of them is this midliner set, and I absolutely love adding these pastel colors to any of my journal layouts. I feel like it just adds a different touch to any layout, and I have been loving them for spring and summer vibes. I think they're nice to just kind of go over my journal entries in and adds pop of color, and they're also nice if you take notes in college. I think you'll love them. Then the other item I found at Target that I absolutely love are these watercolor paints, and they're in tube form. I hadn't tried these before, but I heard a lot of good reviews on these when I was looking at them on their app, and then I saw that they were in a store nearby me, so I picked them up, and I think these are really nice. And when I was at Mido, I actually picked up 2 of these washi tape rolls. I have the black one. I haven't used this one yet, but I have been using this tan one a whole lot. Like, it is so nice to tape my various scrapbook pages into my journal. I think it adds a cool little touch to it, and I saw a lot of people use this when I was looking at videos, and I decided to pick some up. And I will still put glue behind my pages, but I'll use the tape to kind of add like an aesthetic touch to it, but it also holds it in place. And kind of on the note of putting pages into my journal and gluing them in, I purchased this pack of book pages from Etsy, and there's a ton of different Etsy sellers who sell these, and I like these because they come from books that would otherwise be thrown away, and they're kind of salvaged from those books, so I really like that. And I found a seller who has a lot of French and German, Italian pages, and I like that they're in different languages, because if you didn't know this about me, I'm super into learning new languages, and I actually know French and German and Spanish as well. And I was so excited to find pages that I could kind of I don't know, piece together sentences and add a different touch to my journal that reminds me a little bit more of things that I love, and I'm super excited to find these. And I also like to layer a lot in my journal, and it kind of adds a more elevated touch to my journals. I think it makes my layouts look a lot more put together, and I love using different scrapbook papers from really any craft store. Like Michael's will have them. I got these from the craft warehouse in Vancouver when I was there, and I like to cut little bits out and tape them in and layer them with like the vintage papers on top or something like that. I think it adds a cool little touch. And last thing I want to show you is the stamp set that I will use given any excuse to use it. And I don't know what it is. I'm just obsessed with stamping things and writing things in stamp form, and I have been using this a lot in my junk journal. And I picked this one up from Amazon, super inexpensive, didn't really care about the quality, it just had to stamp some letters on a page. I'm not super picky about that kind of stuff. And with that, I just got the stamp pad from Amazon as well, and I got, I think, like the cheapest one that had the best rating. So I think it was like $5, and I can say it's really nice quality and has been doing the job. So alright, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys got some inspiration on different artistic tools that you can use, or just giving yourself some inspiration to start expressing yourself through art form. I think it's so fun. That's what I've been up to, and I hope you guys all take care, stay safe. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye everyone.
See me looking back, I'm thinking of the time and saying